Florida Senator Rick Scott, chairman of the National Republican Senatorial Committee, probably on the ground in Georgia. I'm not sure. Good morning, Senator Scott. Where do we find you today?
Well, I've got to be in D.C. We're voting today, but I've been with Herschel about once a week, and I talk to him almost every day. He's excited. He believes he's going to have a big win. The key is going to be our turnout. If people are energized to vote. I mean, I say the simple as this: when are you finally going to show up because you're sick and tired of inflation and high crime? You're sick and tired of a woke military. You're sick and tired of the Afghanistan withdrawal. You're sick and tired about being lied by the Democrats. So I think everything I'm hearing, and I got the text this morning from one of the individuals that does our outbound phone calling to get voters out. He says there's a lot of energy on Herschel's side. He needs to have a good turnout today because it's still at this point we have more of our voters wanting to vote on Election Day, and we've got to vote. If you have the opportunity to vote by mail, vote by mail. If you have the opportunity to vote in person early, vote early. Make sure that way nothing will happen on Election Day that will prevent you from voting. So far, Democrats are doing a better job than we are, but I think Herschel's going to win. He's optimistic. I was with him on Friday at a big rally. He has big rallies every day, so if those turn into votes, he's going to have a win.
Now, Senator Scott, I talked to both David Drucker and Byron York, and the latter agreed with me and the former didn't, that I think legacy media, left-leaning big media, is trying to tell Georgia voters it's over, and it's not. Herschel, it's a dead heat as far as I can tell. Am I right, or is...
Yeah, the polls that we've seen, in the last poll I had 48-48, and so it's really... But it's like this, Hugh, here's the way this works. It doesn't matter what the polls say. Right now it's tied. It doesn't matter who's going to vote. How important is this election to you? If you care about the direction of this country, and people think that we're heading the wrong direction, and you show up to vote. I was at a dinner the other night, and everybody there was complaining like crazy. I said, "How many of you donated? How many of you run for office? How many of you volunteer?" Okay, and they all vote. I said, if this is so bad, you got to start doing more. I said, you don't have to run for office, but you got to go help people win these seats.
Now, Governor Brian Kemp is all in for Herschel. He's doing everything he can. He won by 8 points. Yeah, he won by 8 points.
I mean, Governor Kemp he's done ads, he's done rallies, he's done fundraising, he's done everything he can to help Herschel because he knows he needs a partner in D.C. So, no, Governor Kemp has done everything he can to be helpful to Herschel to make sure he wins. Look, Herschel should win, but it's all tied to you have to go vote. Yeah. You can't sit there and say, oh, yeah, I'm sick and tired of this stuff, but I don't go vote. Or you need to go vote, make sure your family members are voting, your friends are voting, and you've got to get the vote out.
Now, Senator, I've told everyone, J.D. Vance won, but we lost Pennsylvania, so it's a 50-50 Senate. And if Herschel wins, and what's the difference between 51-49 and 50-50? I said it's a lot. Would you explain it?
Sure. The biggest thing is all committees will have the same number of Republicans or Democrats. So every legislation and every nomination has to have at least Republican for them, or they won't get through the committee. So it's very important that we get a 50-50 Senate because these committees, legislation comes up through committees, nominees come up through committees. And so if you want to make sure Republicans are part of the conversation, then you got to get Herschel to win. So I don't care if you don't live in Georgia, call your friends in Georgia. Say, look, it's important to me that you go vote for Herschel Walker.
I agree, and I've been telling people that. And Georgia, I covered Georgia, and I was just talking to a fellow who's down in my Macon audience, and he's all gone. It's raining a little bit in Georgia. They got to get out. They got to stand in line. How long? I think the polls are open until 8. I don't know when we'll know this, and I am very leery of early calls. But Senator Scott, I want to change subjects on you very briefly. When will you decide whether you, Rick Scott, are going to run for president or not?
I'm running for re-election as a senator from the great state of Florida. I will work my butt off over the next 2 years for my re-election. But the truth is, you sort of do it every day by doing your job, and so that's my job is to represent my state. And that's what I do every day, and that's what I'll continue to do.
Are you ruling out a run for president?
I'm focused on the Senate race.
Yeah, come on, Senator, help me out here a little bit. I got to make a little news. Are you saying no, not now, never, or are you saying we'll see?
I think I'm saying the same thing. I'm not. What I'm saying is I have no plan to run for president. I have a 100% plan to run for the U.S. Senate.
But you're not ruling it out.
Well, I'm not. I'm not going to do it. I'm running for Senate. I'm running for my job as a U.S. senator.
I hear you. I hear you. But I think I am interpreting that as no, not now, never. And I just don't want to misunderstand you.
No, I'm running for the Senate.
All right. Senator Rick Scott, thank you for all the work that you've done for the last 2 years. It's been incredible and unusual cycle this year, but JD came through, and I'm glad you helped him across the finish line. Not one Republican incumbent was defeated, and Rick Scott was the chair of the National Republican Senatorial Committee, and he's urging you to get out for a vote for Herschel, as I am. Go and vote, Georgia. I cover the state. We need you. It could be a one-vote race. Really, we could be in recount territory. Get out there and vote. Thank you, Senator Scott. I'll be back. Hour number 3. Senator Cotton, Senator Sullivan, coming up here on the Hugh Hewitt Show.